What's happening, guys? My name is Anthony, and in today's video I'm bringing you a track guide for one of the best, and after this year probably one of the most dangerous tracks in the world, which is Spa. So the first thing I need you guys to do is let me know in the comment section how much time you were able to gain thanks to this track guide once you've watched it, once you've used the setups, and once you've practiced for a little bit, because I love hearing it from you guys. It's really awesome to hear some of your stories and how you were able to go from, being way towards the back of the grid to being towards the front of the grid thanks to these track guides. It does mean a lot, and it does help me continue these on because I know that I'm doing what I need to do. In addition to that, I need you guys to go down to the pinned comments. If you want to get access to the baseline spreadsheet, that's where you go. It's always in the pinned comments, and it's going to be in the pinned comments for every single track guide that I have done on this game and will plan to do. So all you need to do is just go there and you'll find a pinned comment there. Lastly, make sure you enjoy the video, and I hope that you learn from it. So what I'm going to do is give you guys over to the future me, who will do a slow lap around the circuit, and then we'll move on so that I can show you guys what the track looks like in real time, so that you can see all those minute details in real time, so that you can see how to drive the track quickly. Okay guys, so coming up to the bus stop chicane at Spa-Francorchamps, and as usual, when it comes to qualifying and when you're doing time trial, you want to take the final corner a little differently at the start of the lap than you do the end of the lap. So getting into it, it doesn't really matter where you brake when you're actually starting the lap. All that matters is where you get your exit from. So you want to stay actually close to the grass here. You want to stay to the right, as if you're going into the pit lane. You'll probably be in second gear or something like that, but then you want to sort of swing the car out really wide, and what this does is it gives you maximum amount of straight line speed. Obviously open up DRS going into the first corner. So yeah, as you come up to the first corner now, as you can see, there's a 100-meter board right there. However, there's also a white line that you could use as a reference point, just in case the 100-meter board gets taken out there. So you brake pretty much just on the white line. You'll be in 7th gear, come down into 1st gear, and then short shift up to 3rd. Just try and get the best exit you can. Use all the track on exit just so that you can get on the power quickly, open up the car as quickly as possible, and then El Rouge and Raidillon, some of the most iconic corners in Formula 1. In F1 2021, taken completely flat. In the wet it's not, obviously, but in the dry, taken completely flat. And then down this back straight, you just got to think about this next corner here. Since you're going to be full flat for so long, some people end up getting caught out with this next corner, especially since it's sort of a sequence of corners. But for this one, you brake just before the 50-meter board. What I like to do is I like to brake a little bit later than usual, and then carry the brakes into the corner, deep into the corner. So I brake from 8th gear down into 4th gear, and I carry the speed through, carrying the brakes as well through this corner, and then get my foot back on the throttle. I do miss that first curb because it spins you out more times than not, but this curb I do take, because more times than not you can actually take it, but it can spit you out just in case. And then for this corner, 4th gear still, short shift up to 5th just to get the traction, and you want to take as much inside curb as possible and use all the track on the exit. And then coming up to this next corner, very difficult corner because it goes downhill, so it sort of drops. And because of that, you can easily lock up the car. But what I like to do is, I believe I come into this in 7th gear, just after the red and yellow curve starts. That's when I start braking. Downshift into 3rd gear. I carry the brakes just minimally, so probably about 5-10% on the brakes minimally through this corner, just so that I can keep the nose pointed down, which allows me to stick closer to the curbs. But you don't want to stick too close because the corner does tend to sort of drag on if you stick too close to the curbs. And then I just try and get my foot down as quickly as I can. And then for no name, I'm in 5th gear usually, just after this red and yellow curb. Some people stay in 5th. I like to stay in 4th and try and just wrap my car around this curb without invalidating, and then just get as smooth an exit as possible. And then coming up to Puant now. This corner in 7th gear, just after the 50-meter board, just a small lift and just flip the car in, and then get your foot back on the throttle as soon as you can, and just carry that momentum down all the way to these next sequence of corners. 8th gear for this corner. I like to brake just after the 50-meter board, down into 5th gear, you want to hug the inside curbing here. So you want to have half of your car on this sort of grey honeycomb sort of thing, and then half the car on the actual circuit itself. You do want to be careful with how much speed you're carrying in this section, because if you're carrying just a little bit too much speed, the car will spin. And for this next corner, yeah, you want to try and take as much of it as possible. Again, putting your car on that sort of grey honeycomb thing. And then for this next corner, just after the 50-meter board, just when you're coming about to where this curb is starting, that's where I like to brake. And by the way, guys, the race braking zones are pretty much in the exact same place for Spa, so that's why I've not really mentioned the race too much. But yeah, I'll brake down into fourth or maybe third, depending on how worn the tires are, or depending on how aggressive your setup is. If the rear end isn't really biting, if you're understeering, then you might want to use a lower gear. And then just try and get your foot on the throttle as quickly as you can without almost spinning the car like I did there. And then for this third sector, you're pretty much just going to be thinking about the bus stop chicane, because all of these corners are completely flat. In the wet, I think you do need to lift through this corner here, which I believe is called Blanchimont. I'm not sure, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. But in the dry, it's completely flat. And then coming up to the bus stop chicane now, what I like to do is, there's some people who can brake super late. I'm personally not one of those type of people, so I tend to brake at the 100-meter board. There are people who can brake as late as 80 meters, which is ridiculous, but I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my braking technique, I'm just not able to. So I like to brake max 90 meters, so just after the 100-meter board. And what I like to do is I like to have the car sort of pointing diagonally a little bit, and the reason for that is because as I'm braking into the corner, the car will naturally go onto the curbing, on the outside curbing, and this will give me a better line going through. So in 8th gear, shift down into 2nd gear, and then just carry the speed through, little jab on the throttle just to get the car to carry the speed through this next corner here. And then just as you're coming up to that apex there, short shift up to 3rd, and then just be as smooth as you can with the throttle. And that is a lap at the legendary Spa-Francorchamps. So I'm gonna let you guys see a full lap in real time so that you can see how to be quick on the circuit. And there we have it, guys. So that is a track guide at Spa-Francorchamps. If you did enjoy this video, if you did learn from it, then please smash the like button. It lets the YouTube algorithm know that the video was good, and it also lets me know that I'm doing a good job as well. Also, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more track guides. I've got some tutorials coming as well, so you're definitely going to want to check those out. I think the next one I'm going to be doing is how to drive without ABS, and then we'll move on to traction control. I've already done the racing line, so make sure to go and check that video out. I'll leave it at the end card once the video is finished, and I will catch you guys in the next video.